Good morning from Massachusetts. I hope I'm live and I hope you can hear me. I had a little tech check that didn't meet with my standards and I had to restart my software. I'm going to check. Please give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. And I thank you for your patience. Oh, yes. Okay. On my laptop, I can hear myself. Don't you hate technical glitches? Technical glitches can give you that feeling of, oh my gosh, what's going on? Thank you for the thumbs up, Saddam Mahad. Thank you, thank you. I see Stunning Lad with a thumbs up as well. You can hear me well, see me well? Good to have all of you here. Stunning Lad 1, Julia, I see you here. Saddam Mohammed, thank you guys for being here. Pradeep Kumar, glad to have you here as well. I think, if my memory serves me correctly here, someone has a birthday today. Is that right? I think one of my longtime channel members has a birthday. Happy birthday to you. And I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful year ahead. You know, may all of you have a wonderful year. I hope 2026 is starting out well. Yes? If you can give me one adjective to describe how 2026 is so far, what adjective would you choose? I would choose exciting because I'm not quite sure what to expect, but I'm being as positive as I can. So my word right now on February 6th for this year, I'm going to choose exciting. How about you? Oh, can I reveal who has a birthday? Somebody's saying, who is it? Who is it? Isn't it you? Stunning Lad 1, is it not your birthday today? Surprise is here with the curious questions again. We'll take some curious questions towards the end of the live stream, but quietly and softly are very similar, right? Softly is more volume, so is quietly too, right? They're basically synonymous, right? Mostly we talk about talking quietly in a library, for example, or during an exam. Usually there's no talking aloud. Okay. Well, happy birthday to you. Oh, intriguing. Teddy says intriguing. That's a nice word. Right? You're somehow your curiosity has been piqued. That's a good word. Intriguing. I chose exciting. Anyone else have an adjective to describe how 2026 is going for you so far? Right? It's also been challenging. We've had a lot of snow here in Massachusetts, and my back stairs still have a lot of ice. I've been chipping away because my ice melt has not been working. So I have to take care of the ice for my sake and for my dog's sake. So yes, there have been some challenges, but overall it's been exciting. Okay. Captivating. Ooh, what a wonderful word. I'm glad then this year has been captivating you. Hopefully lots of good things are interesting you. Overzealous. Good energy. Fantastic. All right. I love your positivity, guys. Okay. Well, we have about 55 minutes, 55 minutes if you stick with me. If you're watching the recording, thank you for taking time out of your day. Welcome new and old subscribers, and to my channel members, hello, hello. You'll still get your follow-up task after this live stream. Let me see if I can work my magic and share my screen. Okay. All right. So the news is check out the CEFR level estimator. Okay. And it's a free way to find out where you are. It will measure your grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation and give you your general level right now. Okay. How about I'll keep the volume on very softly to my side so I can hear. Oh, technology, right? I have no idea. It just pops off sometimes. It's really bizarre. Okay. But I like using this software so I can screen share. I apologize and thank you for your patience. All right, so take the evaluation totally free, see where you are, set your goals, and check in several months and see where you are, okay? All right, we are going to get focus right now on sentences, types of sentences, okay? It is so important to appreciate what sentences do for us because it's how we organize our ideas that allows us to communicate clearly with everyone. Now, when you're speaking, hopefully, just focus on getting your ideas across. We're not aiming always for perfect grammar, but we do want clarity, right? When you write, though, you have the opportunity to look at your work before you share it via email or texting or however else you're sharing your writing with others. So the structure is what holds our ideas together and gives clarity to the message that we're trying to send. Oh, very weird. My computer's doing weird things. Manuel is here. Okay. All right. So let's picture this. As ideas come into our head, we match it up with words. That's why it's wonderful to build vocabulary. So we have more choices and we pick the words that best match our ideas. So, for example, I'm thinking of a friend. Oh, my friend, the voice sings. But to convey this idea, I have to form a sentence. Right? So the idea actually works well if I just say, my friend sings. That's a sentence, right? My friend is who we're talking about. That's the subject, right? S for subject. Sings is my verb. Okay? Subject verb is a very common sentence pattern. Subject verb. My friend sings, right? Stick with me as we go through these patterns. And the next thought I have in my head is about music. Oh, I'm thinking music, good, fantastic, emotional, exciting, powerful. I like the word powerful. Again, I need to form this into a sentence to clearly convey my idea. In some languages, it's enough to say, music, powerful. In English, we need something else. We have a subject here, music. Whoopsies. Let's move this here. Music. What do we need? A linking verb, correct? In English, we need to say, music is powerful. And then we'll end with a period. Whoopsies. Not a comma, a period. Do you see what I'm doing? So what do we have here? Subject, linking verb, linking verbs like be, become, feel, seem, sound, taste, appear. Those words link a subject to a subject complement, which is an adjective or a noun. We can't just say music, powerful. We need to say music is powerful. So subject verb complement is another sentence pattern. My computer's doing some weird things. I don't know where you are. Can you still hear me? Okay, are we back on? Oh, I apologize, guys. Let's see. Okay, 1 second. Let's try this now. Oh boy, guys. One moment. Nope. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, guys. It is on? Oh my gosh. Then it's weird I can't see it on my end. Really? Isn't that bizarre? On my end, it doesn't seem on. Okay, so you can hear me well. That is so bizarre. I feel like it went off. Oh my gosh. This is like the worst technical glitch ever. Thank you guys for bearing with me. Okay. It's okay. I'm seeing people like, I can't hear her still. I'm like, okay, can you hear me now? I'm telling you, something is weird with the software. Oh my goodness. I apologize. This means we might go over a little bit. I think I worked my magic. Wave the wand to my side so I can hear. Okay, I'm going to keep checking in with the comments. You guys keep letting me know. Thank you, Manuel. Thank you for confirming. Okay. Thank you for your patience. All right. Subject, verb, complement. Let's keep going. Music I love. All the words we need, it's fine, but the order does not work. Sentences need a certain word order. We're always going to pretty much always start with a subject, right? So what needs to go first is I. Let's move that into that initial position. Verb and object. Okay, I love music. Subject, verb, object. So we have three very common sentence patterns now. Subject, verb complement, subject, verb, object. The object of love is music. Two more patterns. This one is a little tricky. Here's my subject, he. I'm telling you that he sang and us a song. What's going on here? If I have a subject and a verb, what kind of ideas do I have here? You could simply say my friend sings, right? No object. But sometimes there are verbs that can either be intransitive or transitive. Sometimes they don't need an object, like my friend sings. Or we have the choice to say, what does she sing? What does he sing? A song, right? But then this idea is actually, well, why did he sing? How did he sing? He sang a song for us. For us, we're the ones who received this beautiful gift of his music. He sang a song for us. It's actually another object. When we have this idea of receiving something or doing something for or to, like sending a Valentine's to a friend, that is an object, an indirect object. So sometimes we form these subjects, verbs, and two objects because someone is receiving something. Subject, verb, object, object. Okay? But again, subject, verb, object is probably more common. The final pattern I'll review with you is this idea of music and schools and thinking, I wish schools would do more with music. I wish, what's my subject? Schools. Let's make that first. I need a verb. What's my verb? Down here. Should make music a priority. It's a little different from the one above. What do we have here? Subject, verb, object, and what's going on here? Okay. Music is the object. And I'm defining, well, how do you make music something? You make it a priority. Whoopsies. Complement. A different kind of complement. If the terminology gets confusing, don't worry. It's just you need to understand the different patterns. We often begin with who or what we're talking about, our subject. Then we say what action is being done, an action or a state. That's our verb. Some verbs take an object. We do something to it. Make music. Make music what? This particular structure requires more clarity, more definition. So we need a complement, this idea that completes what I'm making music, right? I need a definition here. Make it what? Make it a priority. So complements help us define something more clearly. Make music a priority. So subject, verb, object, and complement. To any of these patterns, we can add in some adverbs or adverb phrases, and we can get a longer structure. For example, my friend sings well. My friend sings with a lovely soprano voice. My friend sings in the shower. So there are various ways we can give more information, and we do that primarily with adverbials. Again, a term that you could or don't have to learn, but it's a way of giving information like how, when, where, and why. Can you guys still hear me? Let's do some thumbs up, please. Because my laptop is lagging behind. Everything good? Thank you, Julia. Okay. Yeah, my laptop was super behind. Okay. Again, we can add in adverbials often towards the end, also in the beginning, like every morning my friend sings, right? So we could add adverbials. Sometimes it's just added information to give more details. In some cases, it could be necessary information. But the basic structures, subject verb complement, meaning subject complement, subject verb object, subject verb with two objects because there's an indirect object receiving something. And then finally, subject verb object, object complement, make music a priority. Okay? It's good to have some awareness of how we put ideas together, because as you create your ideas, you want to have some variety. You don't want to keep relying on the same structure all the time, right? We can mix things up, especially with the help of adverbials, because those pieces of extra information can go in different positions. Okay? Jennifer speaks. But if you put it at the end, Manuel, you'll need the preposition. Jennifer speaks to us, right? Like she tells things to us versus she tells us things, right? So if we move it forward in the sentence, we lose the preposition. If we put it at the end, we keep the preposition. Same thing here. I could say, he sang a song for us. He sang us a song. So if you switch it around and put the indirect object first, you lose the preposition. If you put it at the end, you keep the preposition. Okay? Got it. Super. Following along? So yes, experiment. If you have any doubts about how to put a simple sentence together, put it in the comments and we can check it out together. Okay, I tell you. I'll tell you. Usually you tell someone something. So another thing to be aware of as you learn verbs, because you are all listening to me, I know that you're intermediate or advanced. As you learn verbs, make sure you learn common ways to use them, the collocations. Does it take an object? What common objects does it take, right? Tell a story, tell a joke, tell a lie, right? Tell what? Not all of them. I speak to you. So sometimes you can give the ones that follow that pattern, Manuel, and everyone else who's curious, they often follow that pattern when there's something being received. So give is a great one. Give a present to you, give you a present. Send email to you, send you email. So there is a limited number of verbs that work that way with the double object. Okay. Super, guys. Let's keep going. All right. As you put your ideas together, you want to avoid common mistakes. I put 3 common mistakes. There are more, but let's focus on these right now. Often, as people put subject verbs together, they sometimes forget to check if there is agreement in terms of number. Should the verb be singular or should the verb be plural? For example, if I'm talking about songs, and then right after that, I have this prepositional phrase, my whole subject is this. The question is my subject singular or plural? Sometimes when people see lots of nouns, they start thinking, plural. There's more than one noun there. When you have a subject and then a prepositional phrase immediately after, in terms of subject-verb agreement, don't worry about the prepositional phrase. Songs is plural, so we need to change our verb to plural, right? Songs about love and heartache are common around Valentine's Day. Get it? Yes, and Stunning Lad 1 commented that it can be difficult to distinguish or differentiate between complements, objects, yes, or even complements and adverbials. Don't worry about the terminology. Focus on the concept of it, right? Like subjects are basically people or things. Verbs are basically actions or states. Objects are the things that receive the action, okay? Let's look at this one. Another common mistake I see is people breaking the pattern. Remember, we said subject, verb, object. In general, we try not to separate the verb and object. We try to keep it together. So here, subject is I in both sentences. Here's my verb, had brought, had mailed. What did I buy? What did I mail? What's the object? How do I fix these 2 sentences? Stunning Lad 1, I just comment, why the tears? I don't know what that's referring to, but okay. I don't buy already. What do I buy? Search for it. Gift. Right? So look at that separation. Something's wrong here. Okay. What kind of gift? Okay, this is describing the gift. So the whole object is this. Right? So that's another thing you have to do. You find the noun, you think, well, what else goes with that noun? Anything else? Yes. Sometimes we have a modifier, some kind of adjective. In this case, we have Valentine's Day acting as an adjective. But all of this is my object. Then we have this word. It's getting in the way. We need to move it. We have a choice of possibly putting it here or possibly at the end. I had already bought a Valentine's Day gift. Or I had bought a Valentine's Day gift already. Yes, Ma Hippo's on the ball. Julia, you got it. Teddy got it. Did you guys buy any Valentine's Day gifts, by the way? Okay. What's going on down here? Card. Like, okay, I see it. I see my object. Is there anything else that goes with it? Yes. Again, well, here we have a little phrase. A card. Okay, so that's my object. Wow, now I have something else separating it. Not just a word, a whole prepositional phrase. So what do we need to do? Let's take that out and put the verb and subject closer together. I had mailed a card. Why? For Valentine's Day. Very often, those prepositional phrases are going to go at the end to give information about why, when, how, where. I had mailed a card for Valentine's Day. If you want to emphasize that piece of information, you could move it to the front and say, for Valentine's Day, I had mailed a card, right? So that's the beauty of those adverbials. Both of these sentences are basically subject, verb, object, and then what else? This one is subject, verb, object, and we stuck the adverbial at the end. But as I said, you could possibly do this pattern. It's up to you, okay? Here, again, subject, verb, object. I had already bought a Valentine's Day gift. Technically, we have already, which is an adverb, but we have subject, verb, object. That's the basic structure. Okay, we do have an adverb in there, but it's SVO. Okay? Another common mistake I want you to be aware of is with punctuation. Why are we doing this? Because as you put your ideas together, you want to make sure there's accuracy and clarity. So again, that your message gets across clearly. It can be difficult for readers if punctuation is off, if your punctuation doesn't follow the common patterns. Also, I know you guys have grammar checks. I know there's AI tools, but these are the basics that I believe you should master so that you're not always depending on a tool to fix things up just in case you made a mistake. The basics are worth mastering. Okay, so what's wrong with number 3 here? Look at these two sentences. I love Valentine's Day chocolates. I buy a box every year for my daughter and me. Well, the ideas are basically clear. What is a sentence? A sentence has a subject and a verb. So somewhere in all of this, do we have more than one sentence? Do we have more than one subject? More than one verb? Because if you do, there are certain ways you can join subjects and verbs together in a single sentence, but we can't keep pushing our ideas together. That's called a run-on sentence. There has to be a way to end one statement before you move on to the next. If you don't have some punctuation to stop at the end, we run on into the next idea, and this becomes confusing for our reader. So where does it end? Subject, verb. I love. Subject, verb. Okay, I'm starting to see. What do you love? Valentine's Day chocolates. What do you buy? A box. And then there's more information about why you buy the box, okay? And how often you buy the box, which tells me before I start this second idea, I need to end it, right? Not with a comma, but with a period, something that others call a full stop. I like that name too, but I say period. That's how I grew up learning what that punctuation mark is. So be careful not to run on your sentences. Be very aware when one idea ends and another one starts. End your sentences with periods. It's very difficult for readers when when punctuation is absent, because then all the ideas just flow and it gets messy. Saddam, I'm not sure what that question pertains to, but I hope all is well on your end and you can hear me well. My laptop tells me things are fine. Oh, Manuel made a reference to Gump. Life is like a box of chocolates, right? Okay. We enjoy assorted chocolates. It's fun to guess what each one is filled with. My computer is already giving us a hint by underlining this segment, showing there's a problem here. Again, spell checks, grammar checks, they're wonderful, and it helps us catch things that we missed. But I don't want anyone, including myself, to become too dependent on these kinds of checks, right? We need to have that awareness of where an idea ends and when a next idea starts. So if I know that I have a subject verb here and another subject verb here, I'm thinking, okay, yes, I need punctuation, but not a comma. I need to end and then start a new sentence. So very often, common mistakes are with punctuation, commas, periods, or the missing period. Be careful with your subject-verb agreement. Please remember that if there's a prepositional phrase, in terms of subject-verb agreement, don't pay attention to it. Look at the noun. Is it singular or plural? And match it up. Remember, subject-verb, an object. If you have verb plus object, try not to separate it. It does happen sometimes, but in general, this is a guideline. Try not to separate a verb from its object, whether it's a single word, like already, or it's a prepositional phrase. Don't say I had mailed for Valentine's Day a card, right? Put that adverbial, put that extra information at the end. And finally, pay attention to your commas in your periods. Make sure that sentences are starting with a capital letter and that your periods are at the end of a sentence, right? Post modifiers. Well, post modifier, it's at the end, right? It's something that modifies at the end rather than before. I also think about adjectives. You know, some adjectives go before a noun, like a beautiful person, or the person is beautiful. If it goes after a linking verb, it's in that other position. There's other terms we can get into, but I see, Stunning Lad 1, you're questioning about like where modifiers go, right? Adjectives. In general, we know adjectives go before nouns, but they can also follow linking verbs. And we can go back to that pattern that we saw before. Subject, verb, complement, right? Powerful music. Music is powerful. Powerful music is just a phrase, but music is powerful is a complete sentence. Subject, verb, complement. Subject, complement. Okay? Super, guys. So let me pause and ask this question. I want to see answers written in complete sentences. Do you treat yourself to sweets or anything else? This is a true statement. I do love Valentine's Day chocolates, and I buy a box every year for my daughter and me. My son doesn't have a sweet tooth like we do, but I love those big heart-shaped boxes. You know, it's like you don't know what each chocolate is. You have to bite into it and hope that you like it. Of course, sometimes they put the descriptions on the back of the box, but I love the surprise of guessing what each chocolate is going to be. So I do treat myself and my daughter to chocolates on Valentine's Day. I like those candies. And the day after, they're on sale. So if I really feel like I want more chocolates, I might buy a box of chocolates on February 15th or later when they're on sale. Do you treat yourself to anything sweet or fun? Whether it's Valentine's Day or not, you got to give yourself some self-love. So my sentences have subject, verb, object. Subject, verb, object. And then I give information. Every year for my daughter and me, 2 adverbials. I'm telling you when, and I'm telling you for whom. Why? And be careful. You need to be careful when verbs take objects, Manuel, right? Would you say ask it to Jennifer or just ask Jennifer, right? Ask plus who. Ask me, ask her, ask him. And you can ask her a question. That technically also is double objects because you're asking a question to her. So you can ask Jennifer, you can ask Jennifer a question because you're giving the question to her. To me. Does that make sense, Manuel? So you don't need the it there. I also like chocolate. Good. Subject, verb, object. And then you have also there, which is an adverb. Okay? Guys, put some simple sentences in there. If you have any doubts about how you're forming a sentence, just stick it in the comments and we can check it over for structure. Okay, so we've talked about the basic patterns. Let's review that again up here. These are basic patterns. If you have any doubts, you can put in the comments, put in SV, and you can give your example. My example is my friend sings. SVC is a linking verb plus either an adjective or a noun. Music is powerful. Music is a vehicle, right? You could use a noun or an adjective. Subject, verb, object is what we've been practicing now. and then the subject verb double object like Manuel gave, ask Jennifer a question. And then here, subject verb object plus complement, right? Certain words, certain nouns follow this pattern. So make someone their leader, vote, you can voted him president? No. Elect somebody, elected him president. Trying to think of other patterns. Consider someone a friend. That would be a subject verb object complement. Okay? And then common mistakes. Watch for these. Subject verb agreement, separating the verb and object. Watch your punctuation. Run-on sentences means you forgot the period. Comma splice means you're joining sentences with commas, and that's not good enough. It just becomes confusing. Okay? I have a sweet tooth. I love to treat myself to chocolate cake, but I try to reduce sugar intake as much as possible. I try to reduce my sugar intake as much as possible. Recently can move. I would say, but recently, move the adverb after, mahippo. But recently, I've been trying to reduce my sugar intake as much as possible. Saddam, I love eating chocolate with sugar-free Turkish coffee. Beautiful. Sugar-free can be hyphenated. It's a compound modifier. I love eating chocolate with sugar-free Turkish coffee. Nice. Subject, verb, object, and then you have your adverbial. With what? With sugar-free Turkish coffee. Flowers are nice. Nice simple sentence. Flowers are nice. Subject, verb, complement. Beautiful. Okay. And you want to make sure that you've mastered the basics, because as you get more advanced vocabulary under your belt, so to speak, they still follow the same patterns, right? I can say flowers are nice, or I can say flowers are breathtaking. Breathtaking is more advanced than nice. Flowers are deliciously wonderful, stimulating gifts. I don't know. You can put a whole string of adjectives. The point is, either way, you're still using subject, verb, and then complement. Okay, let's move on, guys. Another thing to be aware of, just raising your awareness of what goes into making different sentences. Punctuation and purpose. There are 4 basic types of sentences if we talk about their purpose. A declarative sentence means you're declaring something. You're making a statement, like flowers are nice, or I love music. I love chocolate. I'll be more specific. I love music from movies. Technically then, I love movie soundtracks. See how we're just elevating the vocabulary, but it's the same thing. I love music. I love music from movies. I love movie soundtracks. Whoops, I'm missing a D. Soundtracks. Okay. If I'm asking a question, that's an interrogative sentence. Interrogative sentences end with, what do we call it? A question mark. Do you love music from movies? Right? So declarative sentences make a statement. Maybe it's a fact, maybe it's an opinion, but it's a statement. They end with periods. Interrogative sentences end with question marks. Imperative is a command or a request, an instruction. You're telling someone to do something. There are 2 possible ways to end that kind of statement. If I say, turn on the music, right? That is an imperative sentence. Technically, I'm saying you. You is the subject, but we don't use that when we give that command or request or an instruction. If I'm just saying it, in a normal voice, turn on the music. But if there's some urgency, I might, turn on the music, right? We're having a party. We forgot the music. Oh my gosh, turn on the music. You could use an exclamation point. How about turn on the music? Might be more natural with a period, but turn it down, right? Or turn it up if you want to really have a good time, right? Turn it up. That's my favorite song, right? With emotion and urgency, you use an exclamation point. Otherwise, we'll use a period. And finally, exclamatory sentences. Gives you a hint here. If you know the names of punctuation marks, this is an exclamation point. And some people say exclamation mark, I think, but exclamation point. So you might have something like, what? Great song. Oh my gosh, I love it. So when there's a lot of emotion, strong emotion, for better or for worse, positive or negative, we use an exclamation point. That's amazing, right? Oh, I love this song. So there is overlap, but in general, declarative sentences give information, make statements. When we ask a question, we end with a question mark. It's an interrogative statement, a sentence. Imperatives are basically commands or requests. They could end with periods, or with urgency, you'd use an exclamation point. And exclamatory sentences have strong emotion, right? And they always end with an exclamation point. Nope, I don't. I think I have heard of accidental tourist, but I don't know it well. Julia, you're nice. Wow, good. Wow is an interjection. You're right. We use an exclamation point. Jennifer looks gorgeous today. Thank you for saying that. Subject, verb, subject complement. Today is your adverbial. It caught me off guard one way or the other. Beautiful use of that phrasal verb. It caught me off guard. It surprised me, right? Caught me off guard. What a lovely song that is. I like that. Okay. Again, awareness. Why are we doing this? To raise awareness in your mind. When you speak, you just focus on the ideas that you want to convey and say it. But I hope that you're all giving some attention to reading and to writing. Reading gives you the input. It exposes you to the vocabulary and the grammar that you need to reinforce and to build. Writing gives you the opportunity to slowly form your ideas. We don't have that opportunity in conversation, so you just get your ideas out as best you can and clarify as needed, right? But writing gives you a chance to form your ideas and to proofread and to correct. And if you practice the writing to reinforce the grammar and the vocabulary, it will transfer into your speaking. Okay, I'll say that again. It's important because people say, I just want to speak. Why are we paying attention to all of this stuff? We're raising our awareness of how ideas are put together. Sentences provide structure for our ideas. And if you take the time to have good structure and master that skill in your writing, it will transfer to your speaking. People who speak well probably read and write well. Okay, it goes like a good communicator can do all of it. Speak, listen, read, write. You want to master all those skills. That's why we're doing this. Okay, I don't care if you remember these terms or not. What I want you to do is take the ideas that sentences make statements, sentences can ask questions, sentences can give commands or requests, sentences can express a strong idea. And then you associate those purposes with final punctuation, okay? All right, let's move on. The final task I have here are 4 sentences. Let me go like this. Boop, boop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, if you start putting ideas together, meaning subject-verb with some information, subject-verb with some information, we're basically then dealing with clauses. Often these ideas with subject-verb are independent clauses. They can stand alone and they totally make sense all by themselves. But as you start joining them together, you have to know, are you sure this is a complete idea? It has a subject and verb, but can it really stand alone? You have to recognize the difference between independent and dependent clauses. Okay? So if I tell you love songs are particularly popular in February, look for subjects and verbs. I'm talking about love songs, and I'm saying something about them. Complement, adverbial. We only have one subject and one verb. This is an example of an independent clause. Let me see if I can go like this. Oh, actually, I want to do this. Simple sentence. Simple sentence. Okay? One clause, one independent clause. It's just an idea. In my next sentence, look at this. Valentine's Day is on February 14th, so love songs are popular this month. There is no mistake here. What I'm asking you is how many clauses do I have? I'm talking about Valentine's Day. This is my verb. And I'm talking about love songs. And this is my verb. Okay, subject, verb, 2 ideas, 2 clauses. Could both stand by themselves as separate sentences? Valentine's Day is on February 14th. Love songs are popular this month. Yes. They're being joined together with so, which is called a conjunction. We can do that with words like and, but, or, so. Those coordinating conjunctions help us join 2 independent clauses. I know some of you know the terms, so I'll wait for you to tell me. It's not a simple sentence with 1 clause. We actually have 2 clauses. We have 2. They combine. Exactly. When we're combining them, combined sentence, but compound sentence, okay? You can put more than 1 clause together, but we need the help of conjunctions, comma, so. The pattern is comma plus a coordinating conjunction. Those are your fanboys, if some of you know that acronym, right? For, and, nor, but, or, what do we have? Yet, so. But very often it's going to be and, but, so, or. Those are the common ones. Comma, so, comma, and, comma, but. Okay? You can join them together. You need a comma and then end with a period. You could possibly have another one. Valentine's Day is on February 14th, so love songs are popular this month, but personally I don't listen to them. I could have 3 clauses and make this a long compound sentence. 3 is generally okay. I don't recommend more. You want to know how to correctly combine clauses, but also avoid really long, wordy sentences. So if you're going to put your ideas together and make a sentence long, do it correctly, but also have awareness when too much is too much. But you can do comma conjunction to create compound sentences. Look at this next one. If a song makes you feel good, you can listen to it any time of the year, right? If there's a good love song, you don't have to wait till February. You can listen to it any time of the year. What do we have? A song, you, subject, verb, makes, can listen, verb, okay. We definitely have 2 clauses here, right? If this had comma so, wait a second, we have nothing here. What word is helping put these ideas together? This one, right? If. This so is a coordinating conjunction. This is subordinating, meaning we have a different type of joining word. And it's possible then because we have an independent clause that can stand all by itself. But this one is half an idea that needs something else to be complete. So this is a clause, but is dependent. If I say, if a song makes you feel good, I need an ending to make that a complete sentence. So what I have here is not a simple sentence, but a complex sentence. Complex sentence. It's complex because I have 1 independent and 1 dependent clause, right? I could have 2 independent clauses. If a song makes you feel good, you can listen to it any time of the year because music is on demand, because we have playlists, right? So you can listen to music at any time. We could have 2 dependent clauses. As long as we have 1 independent, it becomes a complex sentence. So be aware of when you can use two clauses together and what words help you join them together, right? Coordinating conjunctions for two independent clauses, and then words like if, after, before, as soon as, right? All because, right? Those kinds of subordinated conjunctions create complex sentences. And finally, look at this sentence down here. I sometimes listen to music when I'm driving, and I usually prefer songs from the 1980s. Okay, I, subject, listen, verb. What else is happening? Ooh, wait a second. Look at this. I have another I have a verb about driving. Wow. Okay. Whoops, another I. Another verb. Wow, a lot going on here. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Look at this. What did we just talk about? Comma so, comma and. Those are coordinated conjunctions. And then I have this word, a time word, similar to if in some ways. Okay. As soon as I start joining together ideas with so, and, but, or, it tells me I have two independent clauses, but then I'm sticking in another idea, and an idea about time. When do I listen to music? When I'm driving. So it is compound, but it's also complex. Look at that. Complex, compound. Whew, yes. It's compound because I'm joining my two independent clauses together with and then I also stuck this dependent clause in there, when I'm driving. When I'm driving cannot stand by itself. It needs other ideas, a main clause to be complete. So if I have two independent clauses and then a dependent clause, it becomes complex compound. You need to have some awareness of these patterns, again, so that you have variety. Some short sentences, some long sentences. You can have long sentences, but you have to put them together correctly. And how you put them together correctly is with the help of conjunctions, okay, and the right punctuation. You'll know that you have clauses by identifying subjects and verbs. You just then need to ask yourself, are these clauses independent and they could stand by themselves, or do I need to join them with something? So an example of a dependent clause is if, right? And an example of a dependent clause is when I'm driving, right? So those kinds of adverb clauses are dependent. They form complex compound sentences. I know that might be a lot. If you have any doubts, you try forming your own examples. Okay. We're at the top of the hour on my end, but due to technical glitches, if you're willing to stick with me, I'll go just a little bit more and then we'll wind down. Again, why are we investing all this brain power in sentences? Because sentences give structure. Structure creates clarity. Clarity is what we want in our communication. And when you take the time to write clearly, you will be effective. That's what we want. And if you practice writing effectively, it will help your speaking. All right? So it's all connected. I don't expect all the terms to stick in your head, but I want your awareness to be stronger today than it was yesterday. Do you have awareness of the patterns that we use to put our ideas together? Do you see how there are different types of sentences we can form? And the different types of sentences require different punctuation. And when the spell check or grammar check, pops up and it's telling you to fix something, I want you to have awareness of why is it telling you to fix it. Do you like the suggestion being given? You always have that power to say yes or no to a suggestion that software is telling you to accept, right? That's your decision. So right now, put it all to use and answer this question for me. When do you listen to music? What do you like to listen to? See if you can use one of these patterns. When do you listen to music? What do you like to listen to? And then we'll do one final activity to wrap things up. Okay, Stunning Lad, what I see. Before the dawn, the day is always darkest. What you have before the dawn is just a prepositional phrase, right? Before what? You could say before the sun rises. That would be a whole clause, right? So before the dawn is just adverbial. Before the dawn, the day is always darkest. But you could say before the sun rises. Now you have the dependent clause followed by the main clause. The day is always darkest. Every so often, I cut down on my sugar intake when I gain weight, comma, and I go overboard when my eyes are bigger than my belly. That's nice. You could say bigger than my stomach. I like belly. That's cute. So every so often, I like that comma after the introductory phrase, Julia. Good. I cut down on my sugar intake, comma, and I go overboard, because what you're doing is you're joining another independent clause. Sometimes writers don't like commas with, the coordinating conjunctions. If it's a very short clause, you could skip it, but you have quite a lot of information after and, Julia. So I would do comma and. I go overboard when my eyes are bigger than my belly. During a long drive, I like to listen to music. Yes. Again, you're starting with an adverbial. During a long drive. If you wanted to switch it to a dependent clause, when I take a long trip. When I take a long trip, I like to listen to music. When I drive for a long time, comma, I like to listen to music. Before we make a start, let us recap. Before we start, yes, that would be independent. Yes, you have your adverb clause of time. Before we start, let's recap. Let's recap. All good. Okay. So Teddy, I hope that's clear. We do need commas to join coordinating. When we have coordinating conjunctions joining two independent clauses, the comma is needed. Unless sometimes it happens where we're working with very, very short statements. Like, I love music and I listen every day. Some people might not. I would probably use the comma. Or I listen and I'm happy. I listen and I'm happy. Those are such short ideas that some writers would not want to put in a comma. But technically it's comma and, comma but, comma so. Okay. I like to listen to music while I do the cleaning, period. I especially love to listen to pop music because it makes it easier for me to move. It makes it easier for me to move, I'd say, my hippo. But otherwise, your structure is good. Your punctuation is accurate. I listen to jazz music before I go to bed to unwind. And my favorite type of jazz that I listen to is mostly blues. Yes. That is such a long statement. You definitely need the comma and. You could make it more concise, Saddam Mohammed. You could say, I listen to jazz music before I go to bed, and my favorite type is the blues. My favorite type is the blues, I'd say. A little more, but your structure is good. I zoom in on my learning class when I attend. I zoom in on my learning. Oh, the structure is good, Julia. Just the repetition of class makes it a little difficult to digest. I'd say I zoom in on my learning when I attend class. How about that? I zoom in on my learning when I attend class. And I love what you did is you do not need a comma before when. So that's an interesting point. With these adverb clauses in the initial position, we use a comma. Julia wrote it correctly. She followed this pattern here. If the adverb clause comes second after the main clause, we don't need a comma here. We don't need it. You need the comma when that adverb clause comes in the initial position. Okay? I zoom in on my learning when I attend my class. Yes, you can use my class or just class. It's fine. Stunning Lad 1 reminded us about the fanboys, those coordinating conjunctions. Super. Okay, final task. Thank you for sticking with me. Oh, those technical glitches, those gremlins in my software. I'm just going to do one of these right now. You'll see it. This is an example of why we're doing this, because as you put ideas together, you create sentences. Sentences form paragraphs. When you write a short message or a story or something, you're putting your ideas together sentence after sentence. You want some variety, right? That's wonderful to have in your communication. You want variety in terms of vocabulary and variety in terms of sentence structure. This is a text that doesn't have enough variety. I want you to think what the problem is. Listen. The team met in the morning. New assignments were handed out. The manager asked them to follow up by the end of the day. A surprise came in the afternoon. A pink Valentine's Day card sat on each desk. Someone had also brought chocolate hearts to share. Everyone smiled. The mood grew a little lighter. Work became easier. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Do you hear there's something not so great about this text? Lots of short ideas. A short idea. A short idea. It's becoming choppy. It doesn't flow. When you use too many short sentences, it doesn't flow well. The pace becomes a little choppy. It's like, here's a piece of info, and another, and another, and it's boring. The opposite problem is having really long sentences and your reader gets lost in what you're saying. And that's the task I'm going to give to my channel members. But in this particular situation, we have too many simple sentences. They're all declarative. They're all information. They're ending with periods as they should. The patterns are fine. But the sentences are so short and they're all following simple sentence patterns, right? A lot of them are subject-verb, like the team met. Subject-verb, subject-verb. Too many periods, yeah. It's just, you need to start combining some. Not all of them, but some. So here's a possible suggestion. You can make your suggestions too. Yes, yes. Where or when? How about the team met in the morning? When or where assignments were handed out? The manager asked them to follow up by the end of the day. That's fine. I mean, you could put and the manager asked them, but it's already long. I might move this. We said adverbials can move. Let's move it. Just for some variety, because that was the morning. In the afternoon, introductory, comma there, because we have an introductory phrase, a surprise came in the form of a pink Valentine's Day card on each desk. There we go. Someone had also brought chocolate hearts to share. I might move this. Why did everyone smile? Everyone smiled because someone had also brought chocolate hearts to share. Here I might make a time relationship. Or as the mood grew a little lighter, work became a bit easier. So that's possible. I mean, I don't have to combine all of them. I at least left one. The team met in the morning when assignments were handed out. Yes, you could do when or where. The team met in the morning where assignments. Both way. You could also do an and if you wanted to. That's possible. The team met in the morning. I could say the team met in the morning to receive their new handout, to receive their new assignments. That's another possibility. The team met in the morning and assignments were handed out. You could do compound. We don't have any compound sentences, do we? The manager asked them to follow up by the end of the day. In the afternoon, a surprise came in the form of a pink Valentine's Day card on each desk. Everyone smiled because someone had also brought chocolate hearts to share. As the mood grew a little lighter, work became easier. There are different ways. But again, it's nice to combine ideas if you understand the relationship, right? So there's multiple ways to fix this paragraph. This is just one possibility. Okay, super guys. Woo, we went a little over because of the problems with my mic. Thank you for sticking around, guys. So members, I'm going to give you a task like this to improve a paragraph that has little variety for some reason. This particular text had too many short sentences. Channel members, I'll give you a paragraph with too many long sentences, and you'll have to fix that, okay? These are the ones, these ones we didn't see. Okay, I'll just take that out for now. New assignments were handed out. The manager asked them to follow up by the end of the day. These are examples of phrasal verbs that I stuck in there as a little preview because we're going to have phrasal verbs on Patreon next week. So if you're curious about work-related phrasal verbs, this is a little teaser, right? They were handed out. They were assigned. Follow up. Right? You want to check in, check back. You want to make sure that progress is being made by the end of the day. In the text that my members will get, you're going to see a few more phrasal verbs. Okay? So we covered the types of sentences, sentence variety, and there are some next steps. I will put this as either a comment or in the video description to remind you, I do have full video lessons on sentences, sentence patterns, and types of sentences. So if you wish to review, I have these videos that you can use, okay, from past years. Also, if you'd like a little bit more, the members are going to get a follow-up task today on the community tab, so you can join and get that extra practice, okay? You also get that weekly quiz. So you get quite a lot for that 99 cents a month. If you'd really like to take it to the next level, you know what to do. There's a way to join me. And I know I don't use this software. We tend to have some glitches with this software, but when I do Zoom with my Patreon members, we have all mics, all cameras on. We have live Q&A sessions, and I'm not the only one talking. There's much more interaction, which is really wonderful for learning. And that is on Patreon. So you can visit Patreon at English with Jennifer, or just visit my homepage, englishwithjennifer.com, and you'll find out all the information you need to know about what you can get through Patreon live classes. Okay, the topic for February is phrasal verbs for work and play. So if you'd like to do group learning and get some independent tasks, it's all available on Patreon. Okay, I thank you all so much for your patience. I apologize for the glitches earlier on, but hopefully we will avoid those moving forward in 2026. I hope that you feel empowered with your knowledge about sentences and how you can form sentences for greater clarity of your ideas, right? That the structure empowers us to communicate more clearly and accurately. All right. Thank you all, and thank you for being here. Stunning Lad 1, have a beautiful, happy birthday, okay? Take care, everyone, and I will see you in March.